26, and it has been a banger of a week for me. Not sure about you guys. I don't think Joey's going to be with me this week. I think he's out in DC crushing for helium. So it's just me, and this may be a short one. Let's see. Let's kick it off with the sled has voltage. So the first, let's see if I can get the layout to show up here. First thing that I saw that I thought was rad was, let's see if we can do this. Beep, beep. And then we'll share this guy. Is I got the, let's see, where is it? The sled working. So this guy right here, got it up and running. So a little bit of cutting, a little bit of wrenching. That's my buddy Adrian. And then we got the 2-pulley system hooked up and directly off the alternator, getting some voltage. And that was pretty cool. I still have to measure the RPMs on it, but
there's Adrian going for 4.
3.5 volts was what he said here. So that was super cool to see, super fun to mess around with, and yeah, that was rad. The second thing I got was, or I did this week, was I worked on this sealer, and so I bought this sealer a while ago.
Definitely more sealer
and
than
off
you
of
need to seal
surplus
balloons.
place. I'm sure when
surplus
it was new,
buy,
it was significantly
and
more
I
than
thought
I
it looked
paid for
pretty cool. Always
it's got
wanted
these
a
massive
Vertrod
jaws.
sealer.
They're only heated on
So here
one
we
side,
are.
which I thought
We're
was
going to start
interesting. I
off
thought it was
by
a
just testing the
dual-side,
sealer with something that
sealer.
is not balloon
But it's
material.
not
This is
super cool
4
to
inch
get
by
that thing
6
in
inch,
and start
4 mil
sealing. This is just
LDPE.
LDPE 4 mil.
You can
So
put
really thin stuff.
whatever you want in these
We
bags
use this
and
actually
seal
uses
it. That's what
for
we're going to do
Paleo
today.
Treats.
So let's see.
We don't
The
use a sealer
Vertrod
for Paleo Treats
has
yet,
a
but
couple
those are
of
the
cool
bags we
things.
use.
It's got
And I wanted to test
an on-off switch. Right now, I've got it off. There's a little light on here. On the right side, we've got our heat, and on the left side, we've got our dwell, so how hot it's going to get and how long it's going to stay hot. And we're going to test.
The sealing can improve. Okay. Track pack, what's going on, dog? Sled's looking good. Yeah, I'm so pumped on it. It's sitting in the garage right now. It's a little bit of a rainy day in San Diego, but yeah, super rad. Oh, you can't hear me over the video playing the sound. All right, well, I'll stop the video. And we'll just do this. So I'm not sure what got missed there. Thanks, Neil. So in the video that we just watched, we watched 2 of them. That one was the sled, and so just going through what we're doing with it. Basically, what we got finally hooked up was the belts came in from Bestorq, Bestorq, and we hooked the belts up to the 2-pulley system. Got to push it and see the speed of the alternator spin around enough to generate. I think it was with 3.5, maybe a little bit more volts. At full whack. So there are some pretty big problems with the sled. One is that the 2 rear wheels, let's see if I can share it again without playing it, and we'll see if that works. And we'll go back here to this one, and I'll see if I can find where it is, a decent shot of it. Maybe not. Yeah, well, this is close enough. So here's the rear pulley on the rear shaft, and you got the wheels on either side of it, pretty obviously, but we don't have both of the wheels locked to the shaft, and so that means that it pulls super hard to one side. Let's see if we can do this. It might be a little bit easier for you to see. Yeah, so it pulls super hard to the right when you're doing it, and I've got to figure out a way to fix that. Because it's an unpleasant experience if you're doing any kind of distance. For the first 50 meters, you don't notice it, but after that, it's you're going to get a strong right shoulder working on the sled, pushing it any kind of distance. So kind of fun to do there. Let's see. We did the sealing stuff. I got in a new vacuum chamber. It's so new. It came in the other day. I haven't even pulled it out of the box other than to just look at it. So it's a much smaller vacuum chamber, and the idea was that I think the original one I had was a 10-liter polycarbonate clear one, so you can't do any thermal operations in it, but you can certainly test seals on balloon coupons, little balloon pockets, which I was doing, but you can't see in the graph because the volume of the chamber is so big relative to the size of the balloon coupon. You can't see when the seal breaks. So you can watch the graph, you can see the vacuum going up, and what I want to be able to see is the vacuum go up, and then when the seal breaks, we see a dip, and that gives us really good data on where these different seals are breaking. So I had to get a smaller one. I think this is a 2.5 liter, so a quarter of the size, and we'll see how well that works. So pretty excited about that. Let's see, what else is going on? I've been doing a ton of work. I saw, like everyone else, that OpenClaw came out. And so I've been doing a ton of work at first I was like, oh, I'll load it on Monstra, because Monstra is awesome. You can't see it in the dark there. It's deep and dark and mysterious, but it's the thing under the red cord right there. And it's a 3 GPU server at home, a couple 4070s. And so what I wanted to do was initially was like, oh, I'll just load OpenClaw on that. And then I saw all of the cautions and risks and hazard pieces about not doing that. And that you should buy a Mac Mini and load OpenClaw on that. And I didn't want to go through the hassle of buying yet another thing and running a Mac Mini. So I didn't. But I thought the core concept of how do we make an agent that has more agency was interesting. And so I've been working on building that on Monstra. So I've stood up a couple multi-agent sections, not OpenClaw. I was a little bit too concerned about the security pieces of it, and I thought I could just rebuild the core concept on my own. We'll see if that's right or not. It could be not right, but so far so good. I've got one running, and they all run to a private Discord server, not the GK server. And the idea was that for each set of agents, they would do a different task, and the first set of agents is working for Paleo Treats. And so when I go and get ingredients and I come out of wherever, whether it's Restaurant Depot or Costco or some warehouse or our various suppliers, I can just take a picture of the receipt they gave me and put it in there. And then that will get stored in a database, and it will come back and say, hey, whatever, looks like you paid $11.97 a pound for almond flour this time. Last time it was $8.97. Like, don't only buy what you need. Or like, hey, you paid $7.97 a pound for almond flour. That's a great deal. Go right back in the store and buy more of it and stock up. Or I could be in Costco or Restaurant Warehouse or whatever, Restaurant Depot, take a picture of it and say, hey, is this worth stocking up on? Or we're making these 3 treats this week. What should I get now? And it's able to talk to me in Discord. So lots of mistakes, lots of failures on that one, but that first part is running. And then, like every other person interested in AI in general, and certainly having a background in crypto, I thought I would build a little trading bot. So complete and total failure so far, but it's all paper trades. So it's lost, I think, $2.97 in paper trades on $500 of paper money. So yeah, not working so far, but super fun to explore. And then let's see. As part of that, I was spending so much time on Cursor. And if you spend time on Cursor or any of these things, you tell it what you want it to do. It goes off and buzzes away and whirs all the gears and does it. And so you've got time just sitting at the screen. And I found that my watch would just beep every 2 hours saying, hey, you've been sitting for 2 hours. You should stand up. Normally, I'm a pretty active dude. And so I invented Cursor Fit. So as long as that thing is running and whirring away, I'm doing burpees on the carpet behind me. And then when it stops, I can come in and work on it. So I thought it was pretty funny. I ran out of energy pretty quickly because Cursor does a lot of work and takes a while. And my tolerance for burpees is not what it used to be. Let's see. The last thing to talk about is the Rotor IQ. If you go to rotoriq.ai, the basics are there. And I've been working with this PCB designer. We're ordering it on JLC PCB. My buddy Greydodge had pointed out that you can get parts sent to JLC PCB that they don't have from DigiKey. It just takes more time, but they basically put it in a little locker for you and hold it until you don't do anything until those parts come in. But then you have a little parts locker with your parts that are custom to you, and you can say build this board where you might not hold this whatever microphone in stock. So that's what we did. In the meantime, the designer suggested that we buy everything separately and he assemble it so he can test a bunch of the code. And so I went along with that. I thought that was a pretty good idea. So he's going to just assemble it on his own. My original idea with Rotor IQ was that you should be able to buy all the parts and the boards and then assemble it yourself. And I was going to do it in the reflow oven. And then when I looked at the design, it was a 4-layer board, had stuff on the bottom and the top. It had, not a million, whatever, resistors, capacitors, diodes, etc., but more than I wanted to deal with. And so I said, we'll just have JLC PCB make this thing. And so it changed the direction of it from being totally kind of DIY thing at home where you just get the board to, hey, you're going to end up paying these guys to do it, but you're going to end up with a nicer board. So super, super cool. O'Neill, you did the same thing with grabbing weights to do at the desk waiting for AI. Yeah, I think we're going to see cursor fit take off here. Or in general, it'd be funny to see that developers end up being super strong. The last thing that I saw was just this OpenClaw piece. And I've had these ideas. Lee and I did this event on Sunday for Paleo Treats for a little dessert company where we went to another neighborhood, set up in a little shop, and they were putting on an event. And I was talking to the lady there and she's like, oh, I wouldn't know the first thing to do with computers, let alone AI or coding or the rest of it. And I thought, I've looked for it, so clearly I haven't seen it. But I think it would be super fun to take all of the folks in my life who are basically afraid of or behind computers, and I think I've talked about this before, and just shoot a video saying, look, this is how to use ChatGPT. This is how to use Cursor. You don't need to know anything, like as far as coding. I don't know any of that stuff, and I can still accomplish this, this, and this. And mostly what I found with that is you need to be able to articulate very precisely what you want. And if you can do that, then you can do anything you can imagine. But the articulation is the hard part. So just kind of a cool, cool little idea. Okay, that's all the news I had for this week. This will be a pretty short one. Super cool to have you guys with me. I've got a couple more podcasts to do today, recording one for the Met Sci show. That one's going to be pretty cool. I just recorded one yesterday with Ofer at meter.me. And Neil, if you haven't seen meter.me, amazing. And Ofer is just laser focused on the UX side. And it was super cool to talk to him and see that, but you'll see that when it comes out next Wednesday. And then I've got another one with a new balloon friend of mine who worked on the Google Loon project and has got a ton of balloon knowledge that I don't have. I'm trying to catch up with this enormous book that I had printed up, this scientific ballooning piece. Lots of pretty pictures in there, super cool, but also pretty dense reading and lots of equations that I don't understand yet. So fun times to be in my world. Batshit crazy stuff going on. Amazing amount of knowledge and capability coming out of the AI space, and then just in general working at the intersection of hardware and the rest of it. Super cool. Oh, I don't think I talked about this at all because it just happened this last week. Is I went to 2 trade shows. Hang on. One was the distributed, I think, energy. That one of the guys at Semtech, Remy, had invited me to go there to meet up with him. I'd met him before. That was super fun to go. And trade shows are rad because you see just how deep humans go on a specific topic. And at this topic, it was all distributed power. So it's like, how does the electrical grid work? And there are booths with, giant transformers, the big trash can things that you see on telephone poles. I mean, there are booths with a ton of those on there. There are booths with like, here's how it gets distributed. Here's how you put it on the side of the road. Here's how you connect these things. Here's how you monitor it. There's a ton of AI booths, how we monitor the grid. So pretty exciting just to see how deep it goes. And then the next day I went to MD&M, which is Medical Devices and Manufacturing up in Anaheim. And that was equally rad. Took my bride along and her friend, her best friend, and those two had a good time tagging along behind me and just laughing away at the incredible variety of tools and services and equipment and businesses in this niche of medical design and manufacturing. I went up there to look for sealing machines as well as films and saw some super cool stuff with laser sealers and the rest of it, but just rad to go to trade shows. I think it's not like, I don't know if I could do them every week, maybe I could, but if you've never been to a trade show where you don't know anything about it, I would suggest scheduling a day, going and find some trade show that you can go to. Most of them have some kind of free option if you hunt around, or you can just go as press or whatever. But go to a trade show, check it out, and just see how far down the rabbit hole you can get in one particular topic. Okay, I think that's most of what I've got there. I don't see... Yeah. Any other things? 619, I did see that you fixed your off-grid just in time for it to rain. Sorry that it went back offline, but that's how off-grids are. I still have to get out to mine and get the new cell antennas on, so I think it's still offline, and mine is, 10 miles west of yours or something. So, all right, killers, good talk today. We'll see you next week. Rock and roll.